Hey everybody, I'd like to talk today a little bit about addiction and spirituality. Um, Spirituality can only support one who's recovering from addiction of any kind if it is rational, if it provides something to someone that can replace the desire that they had for whatever substance or material they were addicted to. Addiction can range from drugs to sex to people to certain ways of acting in society or acting with oneself. Cutting can be an addiction. I myself have had several addictions in my lifetime. I've been addicted to cutting. I've been addicted to OxyContin. I've been addicted to cocaine. I've been addicted to alcohol. I did marijuana for a long time, though I don't think it's as addictive as the other things. I'm still addicted to cigarettes and a little bit to alcohol, but I don't drink nearly as much as I used to. And I no longer use cocaine or OxyContin. And I was a little bit addicted to ecstasy as well. Um, and being addicted to all these things, it led me to a place where I was absent of spirit. My spirit was sapped dry, and there was nothing I could replace it with other than that which could provide me with immediate pleasure. Um, it's it's a bit like drowning, but being filled with the desire to suffocate, in a way. And really, what brought me out of a need for these things was a a rational thinking process that had a foundation in spirituality that made sense. Spirituality that I could convince myself of. A spirituality that um, made sense to an extent that I could replace my understanding of reality with something that was wholesome and not absent of feeling, absent of strength, and absent of spirit. Um, I tried Christianity for a long time. Christianity is far more convenient than any other religion because I'm in suburban Texas. Actually, anywhere around the United States, Christianity is far more convenient. But what what really drew me away from it was that there wasn't any specifics as far as how to relate to Jesus as a person, um, how to become like him. In a sense, I didn't need desire, I didn't need ambition, and there wasn't a feeling that I could be like him. It was like, this is the Son of God, and I can never be like him. I can never attain the level of absence of desire, absence of fear that he attained. And this became a great problem. Um, if I could not become like Christ, if I could not become, if I could not become absent of these things that he experienced an absence of because of who he was, then how could I ever say that I was a Christian who did not have the desire for the drugs and alcohol that I had before? Um, if one cannot become like one's deity or does not have a path towards one's deity to ever increasing magnitudes, then how can one uh, seek perfection, seek to better oneself? And the reason I became Hindu and the reason why I looked at alternative spirituality, alternative spiritual systems and religious systems is because um, there is a path in ulterior spiritual and religious systems. Um, Specifically, I would say Hinduism. Recently, I would say Asatru. I'm not Asatwar, but I I feel that there's a path that one can follow to become like the Allfather Odin. There's a distinct and significant path in Asatwar, which brings one to one's main god. Um, in Hinduism and in Asatru, there's this sense that there is a source. The God is still one. Everything is still a part of God, It's just you have all these manifestations of God that you can work towards first, that are closer to here on this plane than the ultimate sense of God, than the ultimate source, the ultimate reality of God. There's pieces of God, there's functions of God here that you can relate to first, so that there's kind of a number of middlemen between you and the ultimate sense of God. And that to me seems like a more straightforward path, a more achievable path, because it has different magnitudes. If I wanted to devote myself to, let's just say, Odin, if I wanted to become Odinsman, then I would become more familiar with spirits or wights that are around me. Then I would become more familiar with the soul that I have in my body, and then after that, try to see how that soul is connected to the soul of the Allfather, because the Allfather Odin is actually a more feminine nature, even though he is male. He has a more internal process than external. He has a more reclusive being than he does an obtrusive being. And if I follow that link within myself, just like being that reclusive and internal type of being, then I can follow my way all the way to where I came from, all the way to Odin, Allfather. That's Allfather and Nordic, ancient Nordic. But that path where you know where the path is, and you know where it leads straight up. You don't have to leave it all up to fate. You can actually work along this path. That is very significant to somebody who's been following a path that leads straight down, because there is an increasing amount of drug, alcohol, sex abuse that goes. You get more. You need more. It's different magnitudes all the way down, and it's a steady ladder. It's not just like here, then here. And if we can relate that to the positive, if we can see that, okay, to reach God, it's here, then we can grab onto those rungs and advance towards God in a meaningful way. Advance towards the source. Advance towards perfection in a way that we understand just by understanding the negative, being a part of the negative, and then going towards the positive. That system, that ladder, whatever spiritual faith you're a part of, I felt it more in Hinduism because of the different gods, the different spirits, different ways of achieving perfection, the different yogas, Jnana Yoga, Kriya Yoga, Raja Yoga, etc., Hatha Yoga, all ladders to reaching God, all different paths where one can measure one's progression, and that is more helpful to an addict, more helpful to someone who has felt that they are falling, than just saying, okay, have faith that God will help you. You can say instead, this is how I can help myself, and still have faith in God, still believe in God, and still work my way towards God, but this is how I help myself along this ladder. And AA and NA didn't do it for me. It was too vague, and it was too non-specific, and the books were too just unhelpful, ultimately. There was no way for me to advance in the way that I needed to as a spiritual person, that I always have been. Since I was 8 years old, I started studying spirituality and religion because I felt the depression in my heart, and I was like, why am I suffering? And that was before I used any drugs, before I was really exposed to any of the life that I used to live. And that's the reason that I was led into drugs and alcohol and a whole bunch of other addictions that I was a part of for a long time. But that system of progression where one can find themselves again going a certain route to work your way around to where you should have been, and then work from that spot upward, going around into a circle and then going up in a way. That has helped me. It doesn't really matter what spiritual system that you're a part of, even if you're a Christian. If you can find a certain system within that path, where you have these rungs on a ladder, where you can measure magnitude of your spiritual progress, that is what will lead you away from addiction and pain and suffering. As a Hindu, I believe that all paths lead to God that are unselfless, not selfish, more concerned with the source than oneself. Oneself being the ego, not oneself as in the soul, because that's a part of every other soul and everything ultimately. But that's really my take right now. This has just been a brief overview. I got a lot more to say about addiction and spirituality, leading away from addiction and even to addiction. But I think I'll go ahead and end the video there. If you've come with me this long, thank you, and I hope you keep on watching, man, because I need the views. I have very little views right now, but I got a lot to say, and I want people to hear it. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.